Is your tool just not getting it done anymore? Well, stick around, because we're going to build a big-ass mallet. First thing I started on was the handle. It's out of Sapele cutoff. I had an 8-core cutoff from a different project. It's super hard and does well outside, so I figured it would be a good handle for this. Started by planing it down, get all 4 sides perfect and perfect square. Then started with a 1/2-inch round over bit. It wasn't quite enough to make it a perfect circle, so overnighted a 5/8 round over bit so I could get that perfect circle around the entire handle. This is just setting it up in a Kreg router table with a Triton router. Don't have any complaints about either one of them. I've had good luck with both of them. Had them for almost 5-10 years now. So there's a little trick to this. What I was trying to do was get most of it perfectly round like a broom handle, but on one side, I wanted to leave it square. I didn't want to have to use fasteners or anything, and I wanted to friction fit this so I could get all 4 sides round up into the last like 3 inches, where I would leave it, and then I could kind of drill a hole through the mallet head and then chisel out kind of that box, and then it would sit flush inside. Wouldn't need any fasteners. So that's what I'm doing here. You can see me running through the router table on all 4 sides, getting nice and round, but leaving that last little bit so I could have that friction fit in a square capacity. So these are 8x8s that came from a recent workshop I did where it was timber framing, and these were like the offcuts. So the one side was cut, but the other side needed to be cleaned up because it was just a chainsaw cut. So I was going to clean it up on the table saw, but I didn't like what I saw. I don't like it. Here's why I don't like it. When it's dried out, it's bowed in the middle a little bit, and it rocks on the saw. And I want it to sit really flat on the table as it goes through, just for a safety concern. So I'm going to run it through the jointer, and then we'll bring it back to the table saw. It is an 8-inch piece, so it's really pushing the limits of an 8-inch jointer. One thing you forget is how sappy pine is. That stuff is sticky, so I kind of felt bad using some of my finer woodworking tools on this, and did some cleanup after this project because it is sticky. Once I got all 4 sides jointed, I was much more comfortable putting it on the table saw so it wouldn't rock back and forth when I was doing a perpendicular cut. So in timber framing, when you're working with square rule, you'll work from a reference face and adjacent reference. Probably overly critical for this project, but good practice. So when I'm squaring this up, I'm going to take all my measurements off of the reference and adjacent face. And like I said, not super critical. I'm actually just going to eye it up. And it is pine, it is butter. It's a big piece though. So be extra careful as I turn this so I don't accidentally push it over the blade. And I take a light pass here for the first 4. Pine's super soft, so it was very easy to cut, but I took maybe 1.5 inches in the first round, and then full, I think a 3.5 inch depth is the max for this saw. So it is so close. There is just a little tiny bit left. Probably could just break it right off. But we'll take it to the bandsaw just for fun. So this is not the right blade to use on something like this, but for such a small cut, it's not worth changing the blade for me. And we're just gonna get close. You know, know, a good comedian once said, "You can't fix stupid." They don't tell you how bad it hurts when you realize you're the dummy, though. It's one of those things where hindsight's 20/20. If I didn't watch this video back, I would have went the rest of my life not knowing what an idiot I was right here. Because I got stuck on something, then realized I could have just flipped the board over to the right side of the saw, and it would have cut right through it. No issue. Live and learn. Bandsaw was a miss, but in true timber framing spirit, we're going to cut it by hand. All I'm going to do is draw corners. So from corner to corner, draw a line, and corner to corner, draw a line. There's my center. And as you can see, this is one of those new models. All right, so we've reached the end of the throw, or as long as that drill bit can go down. So I'm just going to use an adapter. I'm going to switch it up to drill the rest of the hole. So when I cut the handle, I left the last couple inches square so I could have a friction fit and slide it through and have it sit on a shoulder. So what I'm doing right now is taking a corner chisel and kind of hogging out a square to the one end. So when I feed the handle through the head of the mallet, it's going to have a seat and have a nice friction fit. Just test and fit to see if I've gone deep enough, because I want it to sit flat so it'll sit on the ground without rocking back and forth. So you can see here I'm driving the whole handle through, and then it has a nice place to sit. In timber framing class, I was definitely the guy that improperly used the large mallet and put a little nick in the side of the timber frame we were working on. So I figured, hey, I got a nice round over bit in the table. Why don't I round it off so at least it wouldn't be real sharp edges like I unfortunately put in our project. So cleaning it up, thought it looked a little bit nicer, and it was simple enough to do in a short amount of time. If I were to do this again, I would have sanded and done the roundovers before I drove the handle into it. But for the next one, I'll know. Well, there you have it. One-day project. It took me 2. I didn't have the right roundover bit, but was able to overnight one and get it done in 2 days. But super fun project. Came out really cool. Now I'm going to go tell my kid to go clean his room. It's a little bit of a persuasive authority. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Take care.